Hello, this is Fredrik Wermling again, and this is another video where we're gonna look into different tools that can be used to analyze CRISPR screen data, and in this case it's GeneMANIA. And I'm first going to start by using the web-based version, and then I'm gonna go in a little bit to the Cytoscape app. Yes, so in GeneMANIA you paste your list of genes, and this is again enriched genes, the short list of enriched genes when A549 cells that we got from DepMap in previous videos. Again, I'm choosing a pretty short list of genes to make these things go faster. And you'll notice that some of these tools will be very slow if you're going with longer lists. So here you have a list of genes, you choose the species, and then you press here and you can see how fast it goes. And then you get a network here of interacting and interactomes, and it's based on physical interactions, predicted co-expression, co-localization, etc. And these, so if you hover over them, you see that they're highlighted in the network. And these are based on the settings that you use. So when you search, you choose which networks to include here, and this is the default setting. So then it's going to include co-expression, co-localization, physical interactions, etc. You can remove these and then sort of click some of them if you want. You can go by default and you can click all in different ways. And the standard setup is that they're in here. You see how many of the data sets out of the total ones that are included, and for some of these it's all, for some of them they're few, and these are typically based on different publications then. But this could be changed then. If you want to change them, so if you only want to focus on physical interactions, you need to do another search. It doesn't change the data that you already have, so you need to sort of redo that analysis, and then you see that only physical interactions appear. Worth noting is that you can move these around if you want to. If you click them, some information comes up. You can download these as images and also sort of network information. You can present the data in different ways also if you want to. And one thing you can notice here, and it does this intentionally if you make this sort of circle thing, is that some of these are round and have these lines on them. And these are the genes that were part of your, or protein for that matter, of your list here. And here there are several of them that are smaller typically, although some are bigger. And they don't have these lines, and that's because so the size, first of all, has some sort of value. So also you can see in the connecting lines here are also reflecting by the size here. So here this one is probably strongly supported to interact with NF2, and therefore its size is bigger, and the line is bigger here than the interaction. And notably then, these that are outside here that doesn't have these lines on top of them, they have been included because of a setting here and related to max resultant genes. So here it's actually, when we search here, we actually asked GeneMANIA to add 20 genes, up to 20 genes that are interacting with our genes. This could be useful for certain instances. I think there could be, when we're just starting to look at our gene set that comes up from your CRISPR screens, to me it's not always completely intuitive that you would add more genes to that, especially if you start looking at different, for example, functions. Here are Go terms, because as you'll see, and this is the strongest Go term then that was linked, cell cycle G1S phase transition here in red, then you'll see that yes, some of your genes are part of it, but it's actually also other genes that weren't in your screen data. So in a way, this type of enrichment of gene sets or Go terms or other things, I think they definitely could be biased by this sort of approach. So if you're interested in doing these sort of things, I think you go down here and sort of not include these 20 genes. And having said that, so if you go for a smaller interactome here, you'll see that these are the list of genes that you input that are physically interacting, and no other genes, right, involved here. And then I think it could start making more sense to sort of look at these Go terms and such, because otherwise I think you just add bias to it by this type of interaction. Okay, so that's what you can do with the web-based version. And here we have, now I open Cytoscape. And Cytoscape is it's a topic for other videos, but in Cytoscape you can download different apps, including GeneMANIA. And here, and sometimes this app looks a little bit strange as it does now, but it still probably will work. So we choose GeneMANIA, Homo sapiens. We paste our list of genes. And here we have the same type of setting as previously, right? The max resulting genes. We have these which networks should be included. And we use the default here. And then we can press to start building this interactome then. And you see it's similar to, of course, as the web-based version. To me, this looks a little bit better, and I think the sort of, it's a little bit more intuitive to work with maybe than the web-based. So things you could do here. So here you can download these images, and here you can do a little bit more, sort of change things that might make this look a little bit better for your presentations or your publications. You can change the size, you can go to the edge here, and then you can change things so that the lines, the edges become bigger. And there is also a let's see, I'll do like this, and you can make sort of a gradient so that the sort of whatever is identified as more relevant is a little bit thicker than the other ones, for example. To me, these sort of, this looks, and you can remove the ones you don't want by pressing delete, or actually you can, by pressing this one, you can remove them and then you can get them back if that would be something that would be relevant. So to me, this looks a little bit better than whatever you can get in the images you can make in the web-based version. So this is typically what I or we would use for making images. And you can see here that this is sort of overlapping what you would do with string database to get interaction networks images. And nowadays I probably use more string database than GeneMANIA. However, I do think the use that you can sort of focus, for example, especially on things like physical interactions and sort of trying to understand different modes of interactions in a way. I think that is the sort of benefits of GeneMANIA, and that could be very useful. So with that, I thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something. There are plenty of videos in this series about analyzing CRISPR screens, and I hope you find time to watch some of the others and that you learn something from it. So with that, thank you. Have a good one.